Hello, everybody, and welcome to our webinar. My colleagues Andreas Schiffleitner, Raimund Rix, and me, Veronika Hüttiger, are very happy and excited to see all of you here in our online webinar today. We want to discuss with you what's new in IMDS 15 and how to stay ahead. To use those 30 minutes together in the most efficient way, we have created some housekeeping rules, as we call them. So as said, the duration is 30 minutes. There will be a Q&A at the end. You are muted, so please write your questions in the chat or use the question function. We will try to answer everything we can at the end, but as the webinar is pretty short, we will take all the questions we could not answer with us and answer them afterwards. And yes, the webinar will be recorded and the recording will be shared after the webinar. And what are we doing today? Well, I will give you a quick introduction, of course, of who we are as IPOINT. There will be an overview, of course, of the key changes of IMDS 15. Our product manager for sustainability will give you a deep dive into how to calculate PCFs with product sustainability. We will take a look together at the IPOINT compliance update that resulted out of the IMDS 15 changes, and our CTO Raimund will give you an outlook on what's next for IPOINT. And as said, we conclude with a very short Q&A session. Well, so let's start. Who are we? We, as IPOINT, we believe in bringing together product compliance and product sustainability in one place, because we think that with digitalization and automation, we can enable you to take data-driven decisions by having all the information you need and by actually enhance your data collection, your data reporting, and your data analysis capabilities. So that's our main driver. And yeah, we think by bringing that together, and I think the IMDS 15 update shows that this is the way forward at the moment, we can provide the best, the best solution for you as our customer, or for our customers, of course. Talking about our customers, we have been thinking of bringing together compliance and sustainability for a long time. We have been around for quite a long time, which made us the leader with over 250 customers from all different industries. You can see some of the most known probably here. We are industry agnostic in our solution and in our methods, but we have a focus on the automotive industry, and we have been a leader or a supporter of this pilot industry for over 20 years. And we want to share this experience with you today. And this is as a first or as a next agenda point, why I would show you the key changes within IMDS 50. As you can see on the next slide, the biggest change you probably already heard about is the support of product carbon footprint. So IMDS 15 will now support the collection and the publishing of carbon footprint data. It will include a product carbon footprint, which will be specific to a production site, and there will be a transport carbon footprint that is specific for, as the name suggests, the transportation of the product from the production site to the customer site. This data will be optional at first, but of course the field is not there for the OEMs ready to use, and it's at the end of the day, all the support is based on the requirements from the customers and the requirements of the OEMs for their sustainability. There is also the smaller changes regarding the chemistry manager, which will now become mandatory and has new regulation. There are now enhanced visibilities into substance classification and hazard information in the materials. And then there is also the dynamic SVHCs, for example, the MCCPs, the medium chain chloride paraffins. They need special reporting as depending on their composition, they are an SVHC or not, right? But by far, I mean, this is the biggest IMDS change probably ever, and the biggest change within that is the PCF change. And one part is, of course, collecting the data, but I guess the basis or the more important explanation is calculating that data, and that is why Andreas, our product manager for sustainability, will now show us how to actually calculate PCF data.
Thank you, Veronica, for the introduction. Sharing my screen, just 1 second. Yeah, as mentioned, Veronica, as mentioned by Veronica, we have now the possibility in IMDS to exchange PCF information, but the calculation of the PCF, that's something which needs to be happen outside of IMDS. So customer, supplier will need a tool, will need the possibility to calculate those PCFs. And if you're working in the field of sustainability, then you're aware there are different topics which you have to handle in the regards of sustainability. Some are already mandatory requirements, and some are more on the voluntary side and triggered by different use cases. So to have an internal strategy to get carbon neutral, for example, or improve your products. And often it's also that customers are asking for PCF information because they have to fulfill their requirements or the targets. And now with this move of IMDS to include PCF information in the system to enable heat exchange, these requests by the customers to provide PCF information will rise, and also the expectation of the customer that they will get this information via such a system of IMDS will get up. And yeah, with that, the supply chain is faced and with the requirement of providing such data. And we know a couple of companies, or more and more companies, already working on this topic, but there are also a lot of companies who are not familiar with this topic yet, who will have some needs to get here into this situation to be able to calculate the product carbon footprint. And I will show you today very briefly how we are supporting with this topic. Product sustainability is the application we developed for that. We put more than 25 years of experience in LCA software development into this solution, and with that we enable different types of users, from LCA experts to LCA or to non-experts to calculate the PCFs. We provide functionalities that LCA experts can share their knowledge, can train a system, and of course, to make this spread within the company, automation is key. And for that, we offering here the possibility to integrate data from different systems. So that's when you would like to scale up, that's always the step which is required here. One important information source is, of course, IMDS, the bill of material on the one side, which we are all used to exchange via IMDS. But now here also the PCF information will come as additional data source, which can be then used as primary data within the PCF calculation. Yeah, there are of course other data sources which need to be included, and I will give you here a short overview in a live demonstration later on. What makes product sustainability special? There's one important point that is that we're combining the best of two worlds here. We have on the one side Umberto 11, which is our LCA expert tool, which gives an LCA expert all the flexibility that you need to answer different LCA related questions, calculate PCFs, of course, and LCA expert can set here the basis for a calculation, which is then done in product sustainability, which is our web application for a large number of users to calculate a lot of products, which can be used also by non-LCA experts, which can be used to scale the LCA results as a single point of information within the company, share this with different stakeholders, and automate this whole process by integrating information from different data sources. And here the connection of IMDS is, of course, especially for the automotive industry, a key element, which is giving us the opportunity here to provide the value that with just a few clicks you get the bill of material information into your system as a starting point to calculate the PCF. When we look in the supply chain, I mentioned it before, there are some companies or a lot of companies who are already working on this topic, calculating product carbon footprints, but there are also companies who are just at the beginning. And when we talk to the different customers, we see here different levels of maturity. So we have companies who are already very advanced, they're very mature, they know exactly what they would like to have, they're doing the next steps, getting more into the details. But there are also customers who are just at the beginning, who do not have LCA experts, where persons from the sustainability department, which are doing sustainability reporting, for example, need to cover this job, or a product responsible person need to cover this job. And based on that different maturity, there are of course different jobs to be done, which a company or which a department has to cover within the company. And we are offering here for these different levels best fitting packages. So we're starting here with a core package where we provide the knowledge about LCA, so it can be used as a starting point for non-LCA experts. You just need to have the product knowledge to put in the right information, and the LCA calculation framework that's defined in the background by our service team. And then it goes up to the more sophisticated solutions when you would like to scale your PCF calculations, when you would like to automate. That starts with the scale package here, where you can connect to your internal systems and to IMDS, and also use the knowledge of the LCA experts which you already have within your company. And today I would like to show you here for those packages where you have a connection already, what does it look like if you would like to calculate the PCF. And for that, I'm jumping into the system. So that's what product sustainability looks like. That's the dashboard. That's already for advanced user. Product sustainability can be set up in a way that for different types of users, you have different complexity, I would call it. So for a beginner, you can reduce here the number of menu items and also the capabilities or possibilities what you can do. But of course, then it also gets easier to walk through a calculation. Here, for example, I can jump directly into a project where I would like to do a calculation now. And there I can create a variant to do a PCF calculation. I give it a name. And now I can search here for a bill of material. I have different sources here able to do that, which I would use as a basis for the calculation. And I'm using here our connector to IMDS. So I'm searching here within our compliance solution. There you see different bill of materials are found, and I'm using this one here to import it into my system. And now you see I have here a bill of material included, which has the same structure as I have it available coming from IMDS. So I have my components, my assemblies, and it goes down here to the material level. And now that the point is the material information, the bill of material of a product, that's a very important starting point to do a calculation. But to have a complete picture and also to be compliant to the calculation rules which are required for IMDS as well as for Catena-X, you need other data sources as well. And to add those data sources, to get transport information, to get own emissions, own energy consumptions and stuff like that, you can click here, apply enrichment. Here we're connecting to different data sources coming from different systems. And with that, the bill of material is now enriched and additional information points are added here. So you can see here for the cable, for example, a transport point was mapped now or was added here. And now the next step is to map those different entries in my bill of material to LCA datasets. And with that, or to do that, I can apply smart mapping here. And with that, the solution in the background, based on the training which is coming from the LCA experts, is mapping here the LCA datasets to the different entries in our bill of material, and that's now the basis in combination with an Umberto model in the background, which is setting the framework for the calculation. These are my points to do the calculation. And with that, I can click here on save, and now this variant gets calculated, and I see here the calculation is done, and then I can take a look at my results. And here you can see I get the PCF, so the product carbon footprint. I see here 97 kilogram of CO2 emissions. There's of course the possibility to have more than one impact category available. Also, if you would like to have in IMDS here the sub values available which you would like to share, that's also possible. And for the user, you can now drill in and see more details where these impacts are coming from. And there are, of course, many other options here. You can now go into the what if analysis and also change and adapt your product. You can go into advanced analytics and get more details about where the impact is coming from. Yeah, so there are many other use cases and workflows you could further analyze. And if you're interested in that, then you're welcome. We are on the CLEPO meeting in end of June, and we have a booth there as well. We have also a presentation there where you can get more insights, and we're happy to welcome you on our booth to guide you here further through our system. And if you're not in the CLEPO, of course, you can also contact us to get further information. And with that, I hand back to Veronica, and thank you for the moment.
Thank you, Andreas. I think it's safe to say it's probably we come now to the easier part because the harder part is probably calculating the PCF. Let me quickly show you how this will look like in our new update. So the IPOINT product compliance solution has a new update following, of course, the IMDS 15 update. And in this, you can, on the one hand, enter the product carbon footprint, which is based on the production site where the product is manufactured. So it is located in the ingredients tab. So this is where you put in the PCF information within the IPOINT solution that we use or that is available to for you at the moment. And then there is also the transport carbon footprint, and as this is specific to the recipient because it's the transport between production site and customer, it will be all the information will be put in the recipient data tab and can be found there. And yeah, as similar to other regulations. You do not need to create a new version. Well, so when you create a new version of the PCF or the TCF, you do not have to create a new version of the material dataset or the module, but you have to assign it to a specific version of the module. Yeah, summing up, what does the IMDS 15 change mean for our new update? This you can see on the next slide, where, yeah, how does this fit in the IMDS network? So our new update will be fully compatible with the IMDS 15 changes. It will fully support the chemistry manager up and downloading and the new regulations, and of course, collecting and publishing the PCF data. Why are we so sure? Well, we are already testing the new version of IMDS. We have been in close contact with TCF like for the last weeks and months. We are ready for the new version, so there's no breaks in the systems. There will be no wait. As soon as the new IMDS 15 release will go online, the IPOINT compliance solution will be ready for the new, for the new changes. And yeah, we are in close contact with IMDS, and we are giving feedback. Also, you know, being there as a spokesperson, so to say, for our customers and giving feedback on usability of the changes that are there, because we work with our customers that are both OEMs and suppliers. And of course, also here, there will be more details at the Klepper. And yeah, but IMDS 15 is not the end of our journey. So our CTO, Raimund, will show you more about the next steps.
Thank you much, Veronica. And so if you go to the next slide, why is PCF not part of IMDS? And that's part of a bigger trend. So we see that in the market, the product compliance and also product sustainability are merging. So even our customers, they are merging the different teams and bringing them together, because on the one hand side, they understand that for checking if a product is compliant against regulations, but also for automatically calculating a life cycle assessment to get the product carbon footprint, for both topics, you need to understand the product in detail. You need to understand the components, the materials, the substances of a product. But also for both, for compliance and for sustainability, you need to collect data from the supplier ecosystem. And there it comes in to use also IMDS for this collection of PCF data next to the collection of the material declaration. And also new regulations, like for example, the digital product passport, they require both. They require material compliance information and sustainability information. And if you go to the next slide, so here we are the only provider and the leading provider in the market who's combining compliance intelligence, sustainability intelligence with the required product intelligence and an impact exchange. So with the product intelligence, we are taking the data from your system, from the PLM system, from the SAP systems, and the bill of material and the supply chain information, and are creating a digital twin of the product. And we have built up over the course of the last 25 years the best-in-class compliance rulebooks, which we are using to check this digital twin of the product against the different compliance regulations and to provide you the required compliance reports. And as Andy has showed you, we have built up over the last of the 30 years the best-in-class LCA expert tool, but we understood already a few years ago that it's not enough to have an expert tool. You also need to have the possibility to automate the life cycle assessment calculation, because you need to provide it not only for a few products, you need to provide it for tens of thousands of products. And therefore we have our generic LCA model, which we can again fold on top of the digital twin of the product to provide you the life cycle assessment and the PCF information for thousands of products. And we have our impact exchange, where we connect on the one hand side with IMDS, where we allow you to use the primary PCF information from IMDS in our sustainability intelligence, in our automated lifecycle assessment calculation, but also we connect to other networks, like for example to Catena-X or to our own supply chain network. And we realized that's not enough to have this network. So if you're asking your supplier to provide a PCF information, you also need to enable the ecosystem, your supplier base, to calculate the PCF. And that's what Andy has showed you. For the different maturity levels of your suppliers, we provide the right solution for them to calculate a life cycle assessment. And if you go to the next slide, that's on our roadmap. So we are continuously innovating. We are continuously bringing new functionality to you. We just saw today IPCA 17 who is supporting with PCF reporting, with chemistry manager IMDS 15, but also here we are already developing extensions to the PCF reporting, and there will also come out an IMDS 16 version, and again our IPCA will support you also to deal with IMDS 16. We still don't know what are the functionalities, but if it is deforestation or PFAS or recycle contact, we will be there that you can work also with IMDS 16 using our IPCA solution. We have extended our reporting for sustainability with our advanced sustainability reporting. We are now also working on an advanced compliance reporting to provide you an increased transparency of your data. And also our customers ask us to get an improved accessibility to the data. So how to get data into our solution, but also to get data out. And here we are developing an advanced integration layer. Continuously, we are improving also our lifecycle assessment solution to be in line with Catena-X rulebooks, but also with other regulations by, for example, our adequate controlled remote models, our material-specific production waste treatment, but also primary data share and data quality rating. And we are enabling your supplier ecosystem to easily calculate primary PCFs and to exchange them independent which data highway they are using, if they're using IMDS or Catena-X or also our impact exchange network. And if we go to the next slide, so I'm looking forward to see you also in person. I will be there on the CLEPA, which will take place in June, so June 25th and 26th in Frankfurt. And here we will show you some more of the new developments, and also I'm happy to discuss with you in person what about the new trends. Handing back to Veronica.
Thank you, Raimund. There are a few questions in the chat. Don't worry, we will answer all of them per mail afterwards. I would take a few out of them for those who still have time, so that we can answer some of the questions. Well, what about, is there a timeline available from when the PCF will be mandatory? Andreas, can you say something about that?
Yeah, so the PCF topic gets now introduced, and at the moment it's an optional topic, but we have seen this in the past, that after 1-2 years, depending also on the market requirements, that's something which can also move to a mandatory status, but there's no specific timeline in place at the moment. But we see, maybe that's also an important point, that it's not a mandatory field at the moment in IMDS, but for many OEMs, for many customers asking, it's already mandatory information. So therefore it's partly, I would say it is already mandatory, but for IMDS, yeah, we expect that it will come in the next years here to be mandatory.
Thank you, Andreas. And there was another question about, is the PCF tape available in IPCA to all, or is this an option to purchase as it was with the chemistry manager in previous IPCA versions? IPCA being the IPOINT compliance agent, for those who don't know.
That's a standard functionality which will be available to all.
Thank you.
No additional cost for that fields.
Yeah. thanks. That's nice. That's good to hear. And there was one more question about SAP data, if that can be integrated.
Yes, so we are quite flexible here to integrate data from different systems. They can come from SAP, Teamcenter, other ERP or PLM systems, and also supplier management systems. We have an open interface here and an approach where we can then transform this different kind of information into the format that we need to further calculate with it. Yeah, so also SAP can be integrated.
Thank you. Looking at the time, I think I would pick one last question. Let me pick one. The calculation of IPOINT product sustainability is based on secondary data. Is it possible to adjust each material by replacing it with primary data collected from suppliers? Oh, this is a long one. Or can part of the data be substituted with primary data, resulting in mixed calculation that incorporates both primary and secondary data?
Yeah, so that's an important topic, of course. This whole exercise is to get more primary data included in the PCF calculation. And therefore, of course, it's a main functionality that you can mix here also primary and secondary data. So once you have primary data available from your supplier, this can be integrated. This can come as a manual input, but of course also via the systems which are coming up, so IMDS and Catena-X PCF exchange systems, and they can then be integrated in the calculation.
All right, then thank you to everybody. Thank you especially to Raimund and Andreas for your time. Thanks for everybody who's posting the questions in the chat. You also still have time to do that. We will not cut you off, but we will take the time to answer those questions later via email for everybody. So those answers will be sent to everybody. So thank you and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Very much. And a nice afternoon.